Another team that's like, we grew up watching, Texas, USC, like one of the most iconic games. I'm not saying they've fallen as far as USC, or maybe they have, but they've been a dog in this Red River Showdown for 13 years straight. Like, one, where is Texas right now to you as a program? I know we talked about them with your buddy and everything. And then two, what do you see happening in this game?
Well, you mentioned, Chris, I look at it the other way. You mentioned how many times they've been an underdog. They've covered 7 of the last 9.
Yeah, from a betting standpoint,
that's what sticks out to me.
Yeah.
I think they're kind of in flux, and I don't want to say house money, but, Sark's got the roster. You talk to people that were on the staff last year at Texas, they thought maybe 9 wins was the ceiling with the roster that they had. And now you bring in Sark with his offensive mindset. We've already seen him make some moves. They got housed at Arkansas after he named a true freshman quarterback the starter. He goes back to the veteran, and they've played their best football the last couple of weeks. They absolutely have a Heisman Trophy candidate in Bijan Robinson. The kid's a stud. It's really cool because Sark's starting to put him out on the slot, and he wears number 5, and it really looks like Reggie Bush out there when Lane and Sark were calling plays at USC. So they got that going for him. I think it's on the uptick. I am a Sark fan. I like the guy a lot. I really trust in what he's doing. He's learned from his mistakes. Yeah. He'll be the first person to tell you that.
So with the showdown, as we're calling it,
homicides are way down since we eliminated shootout from the name of this rivalry. I mean,
it's a Red River rivalry.
Well,
I got some news for you.
There's some branding issues here.
I like Red River Rivalry the most. Triple R.
Just hard to say a couple times in a row.
No, just Triple R. I'm going down to the Triple R. It sounds like a wrestling event, but it's the Red River Rivalry. Hey, Steve, run offense, run defense, right?
Yes.
That's the matchup here. What do you like?
I like the defense. I think Oklahoma, we've heard enough about it. Here's the I will take Oklahoma's defense way more than I'll take Texas's defense. Texas has shown some holes, and that goes back to the roster. I believe when you talk about taking over a program and seeing where the holes are, Texas defense is not good. They got mashed when they went to Arkansas. They got, a little winded, I would say, last week in Fort Worth and held on for a win.
Right.
And Oklahoma comes in on the other way. Everybody wants to see 60 points because it's Lincoln Riley calling plays and they have Rattler. I'm not really a Rattler guy, but I think he's still talented. I was talking about the next level, but he's still talented in that system. Both their running backs are still average at 5 yards a carry. So I think there's some group work that hasn't been worked on. It goes back to what our conversation was early in the year, Chris. If you're going to run zone scheme on offense in the offensive line, you need reps.
Yes.
And with only nine padded practices in the preseason, I feel like you're still seeing offensive lines find their groove. And I think Oklahoma went off and got a monkey off their back last week and won at Kansas State. It was a team that beat them 2 years in a row. People look at the score. They only won by 6. They've only beaten their best 4 opponents by 1 score. But Kansas State returned a kickoff late in that game. I think it was just a go get a win and get out of there, knowing you got Texas on deck. I like the way Oklahoma comes into this game, and it has to do with their defense compared to Texas's defense.
How about in this hangover game? Who do you like, Arkansas or Ole Miss? I don't know who you'd rather have to deal with. The week after you play Bama, I feel like you're very sore as a team. And the same thing now with Georgia.
Yeah, it's a predicament that you both those teams, I don't think, saw them in getting just put away like they did last week.
Dude.
Ole Miss, it comes down to the 4th downs. Arkansas, block punt makes it 21-0 against Georgia. That game's over. Georgia's playing with their backup quarterback. Arkansas is going to play with 3 down guys and dare you to run the ball, and Georgia did that. I don't think Ole Miss is going to do that because that's what Alabama did last week. They played too high. They played a couple guys down, and Ole Miss just wouldn't run the ball. And when you look at, when it comes down to that, you keep getting yourself in 4th downs. What happens if you take the run on 1st down? Do you have a more manageable situation on 3rd down so you're not going for it on 4th down all the time? So I think it's a matchup of differences here because Arkansas is going to want to run the football and keep Ole Miss's offense off the field. Ole Miss quarterback Corral, who's keeps flying up the quarterback rankings. He threw 6 picks against Arkansas last year.
Bro, his fucking arm his release is like fast. I mean, he's really impressive. I know up the 6 picks and all that, but he's somebody I had no idea was any good. And he'll probably play on Sunday, right? I mean, that's what.
Oh yeah,
we're saying.
He's flying, flying up the rankings. So it's kind of you want defense, you take Arkansas plus the points. You like offense, you give the points and take Lane Kiffin.
I like Ole Miss.
All right,
I think a faster team bounces back quicker.
Okay.
I would take Ole Miss there, but that's just a theoretical thing with me after 2 really physical weeks. I think the energy that Lane Kiffin brings in the building every day is probably going to get those guys over the hump.
A lot of popcorn in the building now, too.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Everybody's sending popcorn this week.
Okay. Penn State,
they're actually giving away free popcorn to the first 5,000 fans at Hemingway Stadium this week.
Wow. The troll is incredible.
You can get a lot better free stuff outside at the Grove than going in and getting free popcorn. I'll just say that.
Penn State, Iowa, and by the way, Iowa is going to be my college lock this week.
Oh, mine too.
Sorry.
Mine too.
Yeah, well,
I gave him out also.
I don't think we can have the same lock, dude.
Okay.
Last week I relented. Yeah.
Chris was first.
Yeah. Sorry. Franklin has struggled on the road against top 10 teams. Reed hit me with this factoid. 0-9? And only one hasn't been a blowout. So I'm just feeling like even though Iowa got all those breaks last week and probably were overvaluing them as a result, I still just like them. And I'm wondering if you can give me a reason why Penn State wins this game.
Oof. I do love Penn State's wide receivers. Jahad Dotson is a serious talent. He's just one of those guys that makes in and out of cuts look so easy. Their new offensive coordinator, this is Clifford, the quarterback's 3rd offensive coordinator in 3 years for Penn State. The biggest thing with Penn State is they haven't turned the ball over. I think it's 1 turnover in their last 3 games. They're still +6 on the year. So when you look at the wins they've gotten against Auburn and Wisconsin, that's been the difference maker. But it's really hard. Iowa's defense, seeing them for real. We talked about Arkansas just daring you to run the ball. Iowa's way more balanced, and they just have this sense because, like, you watch them come off the sideline, they don't get flustered at anything, and then when you watch them on the field, it's like, all right, we're going to be in our assignments, and we're going to wait for you to fuck it up. That's it, and we're gonna swarm the ball when you throw it, and they do a great job of open field tackling, probably the best I've seen so far this year. The most pressure I think on any unit in these games this week is the Penn State offense. Right. They have to score to win, and I don't know if they're going to be able to.
Georgia, Auburn. I mean, like Auburn, Georgia. I like. Isn't that funny? You can only say it one way.
Georgia, Auburn, Auburn, Georgia. I can say it either way.
It sounds much better, Auburn, Georgia, for me, because that's also how it goes from City State. Auburn, Georgia. Georgia, best defense since who?
I was thinking like the Bama teams, LSU's defense, even though they lost the national title when I met you in 2012 in New Orleans.
You like
the rematch.
You like them on defense as much as this Georgia team.
I liked LSU's secondary way better, and I like this Georgia D-line way better.
Who can you see scoring on this Georgia team, like remaining? Because, I mean, like even in the playoff, are they going to have to win any shootouts? Like they've already... You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, you have to have wide receivers that can win on the outside, and that's one thing Auburn does not have.
Yeah, dude.
And you have to have a defense to keep yourselves in it, because that's the one question I have with Georgia is their offense. I know JT Daniels is hurt. I don't know when he's going to be back. So they're ultra conservative now with Bennett at quarterback, and they can be because their defense is that good.
Yep.
I think. I mean, their defense has scored a bunch. I mean, defensive special teams, they might have scored in every game. So it's tough. Auburn's coming off a huge win. I mentioned, against LSU. I do like Auburn's approach with the new hire at Harsin. It just feels like things are more buttoned up and organized. And, Gus Malzahn had success at Auburn. Nobody beat him. Nobody beat Saban more than he did. But it was kind of a chaotic style. I sort of like this approach for Auburn because it is more buttoned up. There seems like a focus on their offensive game plan every week where there's changes made. But, it sucks because I think you still have to stay committed to the run. against Georgia. I mean, you have to take 3 yards and keep yourself, because when you try and do things, you just create huge negative plays, and then you're out of it.
Yeah. And the turnovers happen.
It's how stubborn Auburn will be offensively on their game plan and what their defense can. I like Auburn's talent on defense. They showed up and made adjustments last week in LSU as they went down double digits early. But this is a huge rivalry game too. I mean, a lot of people around the country might not know that, but there's plenty of Georgia guys on the Auburn roster that don't like Georgia.
Yeah, I've heard they don't like each other.
I don't know if that matters here. If I had to do it, I would probably lay the points with Georgia, just knowing what I'm getting with that defense.
Me too.